Today I wanted to do this video a little different than my last one. I wanted to do today's video a little more vlog or vlog style. I don't even know what it's called. If they say, do they say vlog or do they say vlog? Anyways, I wanted to do it a little more that style just to talk to you guys a little bit about something I've been thinking about. So you'll notice the clips in the video, there was a lot of snow, and not a lot of snow, but there was snow. And I wanted to talk about life out here in the country in the winter because I feel like it can get romanticized, and we talk about the good stuff, but we don't talk about the trials and the challenges. And winter is a time where it is, more difficult to get everything done that you needed to and to keep up. I do have to say that making this video, it's a little funny right now because if you look behind me, there's actually no snow. And this is actually pretty rare for us at this time of year. It's January, January 3rd today, and usually we have a ton of snow. It's been a really weird couple of weeks. So we are expecting some snow tomorrow and for the rest of the week, and I kind of think it'll probably stay until spring pretty much then. But I did find it kind of funny that here I am doing a video about winter, and when I sit down to do the talking part, all the snow is gone. So you can never predict weather in Canada. I think there's many countries who say the same thing, but you expect it to be one way and it never seems to go the way you think it's gonna go. So this year's been pretty interesting. Anyways, all that to say, in winter, it's a little more difficult to keep up and to get things done. And obviously we feel like the benefits outweigh the challenges or we wouldn't be here. But that doesn't mean that it's not a little more difficult. And our weather can be quite different than our closest city, which is about 45 minutes away from our house. Point in case, recently we had some freezing rain, and it was frozen solid out here. The roads were a skating rink, but my friends out in the city, 45 minutes away, were just getting rain, and their roads were fine. There was a bit of freezing rain for them, but it cleared up pretty quickly. For us, it lingered on. So we couldn't really go anywhere for most of the day because the road was frozen. And so we live somewhere where we don't see a snowplow as quickly. We're obviously not high priority on the list when you don't have a high population in an area. And so with snow, we're usually fine, but with freezing rain especially, we could be stuck here and we aren't going anywhere because of the weather, and that's just the way it is out here. Early on, we had tried to drive when it was freezing rain because we used to do that when we had to go somewhere when we lived in the city. Not far, but if we had to go run an errand or there was an event that we were supposed to be at, we just took it slow and took our time. But out here, you try to do that and you'll end up in the ditch. So that's something we've had to learn, unfortunately, the hard way, in the ditch, that freezing rain means you're staying home. The other thing is keeping the wood stove going, and it is a full-time job. Our wood stove runs from, it doesn't go off all winter, so for 6 months pretty much it's going nonstop. Obviously you have to chop that wood and stack that wood. We ran into some health issues this year, and so we did not get all our wood covered and in where it was supposed to go in time, and so unfortunately we have some wood that's in storage covered, but some wood that didn't make it there, which means it's wet, and it's never great to burn wet wood. But sometimes you just have to work with what you have. So we have been alternating between, the wet and the dry wood, and just doing what we can. But that's kind of part of life out here. If you don't get it in time, if you don't get your wood cut, if you don't get your wood stacked, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble in the winter. We do have backup heating in here, but the way our house is, the shape of it and the age of it, the heat doesn't transfer well with our secondary heat, which is propane. And so if we were to use that, we just couldn't afford it. Like, there's just no way. So we only use that as a backup heat. It goes on sometimes on the super, super cold nights when it's like minus 20, or minus 30 or -20 or -30 where the wood stove can't really keep up, so it'll help with that. But, you know, you go for the day, you come home, the house is pretty cold, you gotta restock the stove and wait for it to warm up. And so that takes a lot of time and energy as well. The third thing is if you have animals out in the country, if you don't have electricity out in your barns like we don't, we deal with a lot of frozen water. So on the really cold times, you're changing out their water sometimes a few times a day because their water is freezing over. So for my chickens, I'm constantly, you know, going back and forth on the super cold days and giving them fresh water that is not frozen. So that is a lot more work, obviously, in the winter as well. And then you have your shoveling, and our driveway is pretty long and we don't have a snowblower at this point in time. It's not in the budget. And so there's obviously a lot of shoveling, and when it's not a small in-town driveway, it definitely takes up a lot of your time. It's good exercise, but it takes up a lot of your time. So my husband tends to do that most of the time, but there are times when he's at work where I will try to help him out and do that, or you know, we'll both be out there sometimes, but he does a lot of it, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that. So those are just like some of the ways that out here it can be harder in winter. But I think sometimes when you are reading about stuff and like about homesteading and country life, we tend to leave out the negative stuff. But like with anything, I mean, there's nothing in this life that you're not going to choose a life that everything will be roses and everything will be perfect. So you just have to decide what is it that is more important to you and your family that that will affect your choice of where you live and what you do. So the hope is that the lifestyle that you have chosen, there is joy in it, and it is things that are important to you that you want to do with your family, that the challenges are worth it. My husband and I really enjoy living in the country, and both of us can't picture ourselves living in the city again unless we absolutely had to. And so the challenges that come with living in an old farmhouse on a country property are worth it to us, even though some days it might feel like it's not, but it's definitely what brings us joy in this life. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I love to share the good parts of country life and homestead life, but I also want to be honest too that just like anything, there are challenges. You have to decide if they're worth it when you're choosing this life. And for me, being surrounded by nature, I mean, I couldn't ask for more. So for us, it's definitely worth it. Thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll see you next time.